The truth about the 2022 recession, or not, or maybe. Recession's a horrible word. It all means bad stuff, and it makes us all miserable and fed up. And we don't want to get out of bed, and we don't want to do anything. And the world comes to an end. And why are we bothering? But is that right? Is that really what it's going to be like? Because that doesn't really reflect life, is it? So let's look at whether or not the recession is going to happen or not. Let's do the technical stuff first. What is a recession? A recession is not you feeling bad, me feeling bad, anybody feeling bad. It's not about less income. Well, it sort of is. The technical answer is that there has to be 2 quarters of negative growth in gross domestic product in the United Kingdom, obviously, for there to be classed as a recession. Now, all other countries have a similar measure, but that's what we're looking at. We're looking at 2 periods of consecutive negative growth. So how do we get to a recession? How do we get to that point? What happens? It's not as if somebody turns around and goes, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to buy anything today. I'm not going to go out and buy my cafe latte, choco, waka, doodah biscuit thing from whatever coffee establishment you want to go and buy that from. That's not, if you decide not to do that tomorrow, by the way, that's not going to create a recession. That's not going to happen. It's going to be bigger than that. It's going to be bigger things that are happening. But you've got to remember now, we live in a day and age where media is a massive thing. And media promotes messages. It does. It claims to be unbiased. Well, some of it does. Some of it's unbiased, some of it's not. Who knows? But it promotes messages. And those messages can trigger events, even though those events might not happen if the media wasn't around. What if we go back to like 2014, 15, there was talk about a recession. And there was lots of talk about it. But all of the indicators were saying, well, no, it's all fine. But yet the media said, yep, there's going to be a recession. We're going to have a recession. It's going to be a recession. It's going to be bad. Well, okay, it wasn't as bad as it was, but we did have a recession. Now, did the media cause that? Or did other events cause that? And I think probably it was the media that did it. So we could talk ourselves into something by saying recession, 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 recession. We could do that. And that would be bad and probably stupid. But we know at the moment that we have a cost of living crisis. That's probably the best way of describing it. We've seen fuel prices go through the roof, certainly in the UK and other parts of the world, over the past 6 months. We've seen electric get completely out of hand. It's mad. Food prices went through the roof. But when you start looking at why those things happened, you start going, okay, well, we had a war in Ukraine. That pushed food prices up. It also pushed electric prices up as well. We had a bit of an issue with Russia, again, invading Ukraine, and that affected petrol prices. And the underlying stuff that went on with that is not in the control of the UK. They're outside things. They're worldwide things. And when you actually strip all that stuff away and you come back to the UK, our inflation is about 2% when you strip that stuff out. So actually, are we just going to talk ourselves into something here? Other reasons that this recession could happen, other than let's talk ourselves into it and price rises. We've come from COVID. COVID, I think we would all agree, is the most unprecedented time that I can remember having, and the biggest resource-hungry event that's happened. And I don't mean resource just in terms of money. I mean resource in terms of mental energy, in terms of health energy, all of that stuff. And then you come up against other challenges, and maybe we don't have the necessary mental health resources in terms of ourselves and our energy to get through the next bit. That reduction in our health reserves, let's call it, could mean that we just have to take our foot off the pedal. Because our bodies just go, you know what, the reserve's dead. You can't run any faster. You have to stop a bit. And therefore, demand, energy, whatever you want to do it, falls. And that fall could lead to a recession. Emphasis on the word could, not will. So what else can we do about this to try and deal with it, accept it, whatever you want to call it? Well, talk to other people about it. Talk to friends, talk to people that you trust and get their take on it. Don't take the word of the media as being the sole arbiter of truth, because it's not. They have a message, they will tell the message. Their message is, we need to sell people to our channel because that's what we need to do. Okay, that's fine, but you don't necessarily know the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Other things to think about are just concentrate on you. Think about you, think about your resources, and deploy those resources in the best way that you can, because that way you're going to manage the process and feel much happier about it. So, are we going to go into a recession? I think the jury's out. It's probably likely that there's going to be negative growth, probably, but that's not necessarily because of the underlying stuff. It's just because the stuff we face. But recessions generate fear, and fear is bad, not just for everywhere else, but also for our own health. So why not check out the video on money and anxiety to see things how that could help.